Hi, I'm Nick Gillespie with Reason TV. Today we're talking with William Binney. He was a longtime NSA employee who quit the service, the National Security Agency, shortly after the 9/11 attacks when he was acting as technical leader for intelligence. He's kind of like Edward Snowden 1.0. In 2005, you helped the New York Times, or you were involved in a New York Times investigation, an expose of the NSA warrantless wiretapping program that caused quite a scandal in the Bush administration. In 2007, you were investigated by the FBI about, possibly leaking national security statements. You were cleared of all charges, but you were also raided by the FBI. What were they looking for? And did you actually leak state secrets? Now that you're cleared, right? You can tell us the truth.
No, in fact, they knew I didn't. Okay,
right.
Because they had Stellar Wind. They had all my phone calls and emails.
Stellar Wind.
Stellar Wind was the basic reason I left NSA in 2001, because that's when they started to take the program that I did to do social network reconstruction of everybody in the world, and to direct that basically against everybody in the United States. That meant they were basically putting a pen register on every phone number in the United States. Pen register is like they call it a trace and tap, where I put this device on your line and I can monitor who you call, how long you call them, and the
NSA historically or statutorily is not supposed to be looking at things within the United States, except under very rare or very specific circumstances. Yeah, a
warrant built on probable cause.
Right. So and we'll get to that because that's really at the root of all this. So Stellar Wind allowed the NSA, or rather under Stellar Wind, the NSA started looking in the U.S. when it's supposed to mostly be looking out. And what did the what were you suspected of having done?
Well, that was a pretext, okay? The whole idea was to retribution for our DOD-IG complaint against NSA for corruption, fraud, waste, and abuse.
Right.
That was the reason they raided us. Everybody who signed that complaint was raided that day. That was Ed Loomis, Kirk Wiebe, myself, and also Diane Rourke, who was the senior staffer on the House Intelligence Committee. So we had both the Congress and people from inside NSA complaining about the corruption there. So we were all raided at the same time because of that. And they used the pretext of the New York Times leak of the warrantless wiretapping.
Right. So they were claiming that you were one of the leakers.
But they already knew from Stellar Wind that we had no contact with those people.
Right. So what happens when the FBI raids your house or raid your belongings?
For me, they came in with guns drawn, and they came up, pointed guns at my family and me. So I was getting out of the shower. Yeah. I just asked them if I could put some clothes on. Right. I wasn't really. I was in the military. I had people pointing guns at me at different times. So, but they came in and they just got us isolated. My family was there. I was on the back porch, and they went through and searched everything and took my computer. And
and at that point, you were running a consulting business? We
had a consulting business, yeah.
That can't be good for business, is it?
No, in fact, it destroyed our business, yeah.
Did you get your materials back?
Not all of them. See, they claimed that under NSA A-59, NSA Act 1959, that if there was something sensitive, nothing was classified, okay? But they said if there was something that was sensitive to them, they could keep it and not tell us what it was or return it. Yeah. So in other words, they claimed that some of the stuff was a pretext to justify the raid, okay? Right. That's all. So
and that's mostly just to you think it was like to send a scare into you or to
it was to intimidate us to keep quiet. Yeah.
Now you're a patriotic fellow. You volunteered for the military during Vietnam. You spent your entire career at the NSA. Does this type of activity make you think twice about the goodness of the American experiment?
That's the reason I've been coming out publicly, is because where I see it going is toward a totalitarian state. I mean, you've got the NSA doing all this collection of material on all of its citizens. That's what the SS, the Gestapo, the Stasi, the KGB, and the MVD did. I mean, that was all their. I mean, these are the people I worked for 30 years.
Right, okay? And you were a Russia specialist, right? You covered or you surveilled the Russian military.
Russian and the Warsaw Pact, yeah. Yep.
Okay, so you know how totalitarians did things, right?
Yeah, well, that's why Chancellor Merkel was calling what they're doing here the actions like the Stasi.
Yeah. Do you think that's a legitimate analogy?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Now, why is it though? Because I mean, or play that out a little bit more. Have we seen? One of the things that was a kind of common feature in East Germany or in the Soviet Union was that you'd look out the window and you'd see your neighbor being hustled out, and then nobody ever talked about him again. Is that really happening in the U.S., or is it likely to?
Well, they're using that data that NSA is collecting to arrest people right now through the Drug Enforcement Agency and the FBI. Right. They're already doing that, and it's not a warrant, so they have to do a parallel construction to go out and find other material that would substitute for that.
Right.
And
so
then
you're saying then that say the DEA uses data that they gather from an intelligence agency,
from NSA.
Okay, and then they go out and they find the actual
right.
They can't say, oh, well, we got this tip from NSA, so we're arresting you, but they know this person is doing this, that, and the other thing,
right.
So then they go out and track them.
That's right. Well, actually, they go out and arrest them. They say some of them have said, at least in the article of Reuters, they said we were told simply to go to this parking lot, wait for this truck to come in. When it comes in and parks over there, go arrest them, bring the drug dogs in, and go get find the drugs. So, but that's all content. That's what NSA is collecting, and that's what the FBI and the DEA and the other law enforcement agencies are using.
And we'll talk more about this, but isn't that what intelligence is for? Because as long as they're going after guilty people, what's wrong with that? You and I, or at least me, I have nothing to worry about because I'm not a criminal. What's wrong with that kind of logic?
Well, I don't have any problem with as long as they do it constitutionally, and it follows the Constitution of the United States, which is violating. I mean, this is a direct violation of privacy of everybody in the country. I mean, after all, there's so many laws in this country that you can find some law you're breaking. Right. So if they want to come after you, then they've got a pretext now because they've got everything you've ever done recorded.